Thank you. Asante sana. I greet you all. Good afternoon. It's really good to be here to listen to very gifted individuals, both informed and gifted in the gap and with information and data. Thank you very much. I want to associate myself with the protocols that have been observed, because I know lunch is waiting, and for our CEO, other people are waiting. So I would not want to hold him here. But most of what I was going to say has already been said. I do not want to repeat everything that has been said, but I want to just add a few things. I'm only about 4 months old now in the commission. And during that period of time, there are things that I have observed as now an insider as compared to when I was an outsider. Some of you have heard me say, when you are an outsider, you're like one who is sitting in a stadium watching a football game. And you can see all the mistakes that the players are making, the opportunities that are being lost, how they could have passed the ball to the other person and it would have been kicked in. And you wonder, what is this person doing? And I've been there during, from 2014 all the way to this year. I was a columnist in the Standard, the Sunday Standard, writing every Sunday. When this matter of corruption came up, I just went back to the articles that I had written. I found I'd written almost 20 articles in that period of time on corruption, because it was an issue that really troubled my heart and still does. Because I believe that if we could deal with corruption, I believed then and I believe now, this country could become a first world country. Because many of the challenges that we face in our country today have to do in one way or another with matters to do with corruption. And so, having come in, now I'm in the field myself. I told some of our members of staff that I'm still looking for the ball. I can see people running around, but I can't even see the ball where it is. And so I've been trying to look for this ball, and I think I'm making good progress, because some of them pass very near me, and I am trying my best to kick it into the goal. But I've realized that corruption in this country is more entrenched than I thought. It is more pervasive than I imagined. It is a lifestyle that as a nation we seem to have adopted, whether deliberately or not. But it is in every sector, is in every quarter. I'm from church background. I can tell you that even in church, in the religious sector, this thing exists. And so unless we work together as a team, it is not going to be possible to fight corruption in this country. This is not a matter that can be left to one institution like EACC in order for us to fight it, to slay the dragon, like we say. We need to strengthen collaborations with various individuals, institutions, both within and without the government. The media is, has been already said, a very, very critical member in that team. I think you are the strikers. If we talk about the game of soccer, you are the people who can get these balls right into the goal, into the net. The rest of us play the part that we play, but you play a very significant role in informing, like Mr. Rapuro mentioned, educating, calling to account. You have a space that many of us do not have. Even for me to be heard, the things that I'm doing as chair of the commission to be known, it depends on the media. The media is like the one who is controlling the PA system. If they decide now to switch off, I can be yapping, but you see my mouth moving, but you don't know what I'm saying. But when the volume is put on, then you hear. So the media play a very, very critical role, and that has been mentioned and emphasized by the speakers before me. And I want to just call upon you as members of that fraternity to not downplay your role. Our first speaker, Charity, mentioned something very significant about Rwanda. And it happened even in this country. Those of us who remember 2007. The media, I think, became reckless. The kind of advertisements that were being placed by political leaders in our media houses with insults, with all kinds of things, the highlights that we gave to the campaigns, one could really see that we are headed towards destruction because of the way we handle things. In subsequent elections, I think the media has played a very, very responsible role. And I think this has helped us to stay together as a nation. I believe that we can do the same in this fight against corruption. We need to smoke out men and women who are stealing the resources of this country and turning them into their own private resources, so that they do not enjoy these resources. The investigative journalists are great people. They are able to bring out some things that some of us do not know. And this needs to be highlighted. One area that I would like to call upon the media fraternity to help us in is to bring a connection between the troubles and challenges that we face as a nation and the whole thing about corruption. Recently, there was the Finland case in Washington. The public came out in a demonstration against those who they believed or perceived to have eaten their money. And they came out in a demonstration. And I thought to myself, why did they do that? Because they could connect directly. The money came from their pockets and had gone to some other pockets, and they had not seen the results thereof. And so they felt the pain directly. Now, the truth is that there are people who are taking money from our pockets without our knowledge. And eventually we go to them to ask for handouts. Eventually they are the same people who try to help us here and there, give us little things here and there. But these are people who have actually stolen your money. The reason that there is no medicine in the local dispensary is because that medicine, the money for that medicine, had been taken by somebody else. The reason that the road in your area is not good is because somebody somewhere ate the money that would have been used to build that road. This is a connection that Kenyans, we have not been able to make. And so when we fight about corruption, it is spoken about in a very abstract manner. And I believe that the media fraternity, you can help us to make that connection so that people begin to agitate against men and women in this country who are determined to bring down our nation through corruption. I can tell you for a fact, in the short while that I've been in this institution, I have come to believe that almost every project that is done in this country is done because of corruption. Is initiated with a clear mind that this is what we are going to get. Because the number of files and cases that come to our office, you look at a project that you are so happy about as an ordinary Kenyan, only to find that men and women had planned for that project. And people are not stealing small money. We were dealing with a case where the budget for a project was 18 billion, a huge project. This project was inflated to 87 billion. I was telling myself, even if they increased this to 20 billion, it will still be bad enough, because they will have taken 2 billion on top of the original 18 billion. But that's not Kenya. In Kenya, we do things in a big way. And so they moved this thing from 18 billion to 87 billion. It is not